Thank you all for being here. Today is a great day for transparency in America because today I'm proud to announce the creation of the Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets. This task force will be a part of the House Oversight Committee and led by the very talented and persistent Congresswoman from Florida, Anne Paulina Luna.
For too long, the American spirit has been dimmed by a veil of secrecy, by a government that has grown too comfortable in the shadows, denying us the transparency we deserve. But today, we stand at the dawn of a new era where the light of truth begins to shine through. Together with the help of the White House, our intelligence allies, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified submerged objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list, the origins of COVID-19, and the 9/11 files.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Alien Addict on this fine, luxurious, and romantic day. Yes, it is Valentine's Day. This is going to be a crazy episode. Honestly, I haven't really done like a proper plan for this episode. Well, I have, because we're going to do not necessarily a deep dive on conspiracies, as it is a romantic day, but it's worth mentioning because, man, I tell you what, America, what is going on? They're getting shit done, isn't it? When you look at it, it's absolutely crazy where we are in 2025. Like I said before, there's a cosmic change that's about to happen. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think something's good. That's going to be popping around the corner very, very soon. Time will tell, hey? Time will tell. But before we start with the show, let's bring out the boys at the Daily Conspiracy Podcast on Spotify, Monday to Friday, because reptilians don't take days off. Guys, honestly, if you're a bit like me and you're into conspiracies, which is always, it's good. For me, I don't take conspiracies too seriously now compared to last year, which I want to kind of talk about later on in the show, because Dave mentioned from the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. Honestly, guys, go there if you just want a good laugh about conspiracies, not taking it too seriously. And this is what Dave was mentioning, but I want to kind of allude to a little bit later. Is that the fact that sometimes you just got to take a step back. You know, if you're new to the realm of conspiracies and suddenly you go through like an awakening stage when you start to realize, oh, actually, no, everything that I thought was right is actually wrong. And then you go down the deep rabbit holes on the internet. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because the first of knowledge that you get when you once go through this awakening stage. I've been there many, many times. I had this awakening stage going back like 2007. So I've had like quite a long process to understand things and put things into perspective, so to speak, after so many years. So yeah, I've changed my mind on a lot of things, but it's still, I'm a conspiracy theorist. But let's get to the chat. I'm going to read really, really quickly. John Strokes, how's it going? Rotary Motion, Sheep Hop Pop, Mike Tate, Alien Addict, go fuck yourself, Jamie Kennedy, DW, Darkest Gooner, like that. Corbell's Cats. I think we mentioned you. Mark Jeffrey, welcome on in. City Diva, nice having a chat with you earlier. John, how's it going, mate? I think that is everybody. And Aaron, how's it going, bruv? So yeah, we have got a decent crowd in today. Lovely, that's awesome. So today's show might be a little bit short because I want to spend a bit of time with Mrs. because as it is Valentine's Day, yes, I did buy a bunch of roses for my Mrs., which she did appreciate it. God, bloody expensive. What, 15 quid for a bed of roses? Unbelievable. I could pick them for myself during the summer. But anyway, it's part of Valentine's Day. It's a bit of a gimmick now, isn't it, really? I mean, if you love your partner, you should love them every day. But it just seems to be like, oh, you have to buy cards. That cost me like an arm and a leg. Also, I was a right dickhead trying to find a card. I nearly bought a card, right, that said, I hope you find someone special. It's just like, honestly, it was the first time after like 12 years of being in a relationship, I actually bought cards and roses and chocolate for the missus. I think she pretty much appreciated it, really. So, yeah, all right. So today's show, okay, Anne Paulina Luna, new task force looking into the JFK files, COVID. Yes, I got to say that. 9/11, got to say that as well. Yes, we're going to touch upon that a little bit later. Sean Ryan talked about something very interesting that I've been talking about for a very long time, and that's the infiltration of conspiracy theories, especially on social media. Very interesting getting to that. An awesome story about Vietnam and the missing B-2 bomber and the mutilated humans that was found on board. I don't know if you ever heard that on Twitter, but hold on to your hats because it's getting absolutely creepy. Go through some like UFOs and paranormal stuff, and I want to talk about integrating conspiracy theories as well onto because what Dave mentioned back on the Daily Conspiracy podcast that there's certain ways to actually lead a conspiracy theory life, because conspiracy theories don't bring warmth to the heart, guys. Not like today, you know. It's not like today. It's something you have to deal with because it is like a 24-hour thing, and when you're losing sleep upon that, it's not really good. But anyway, we're going to move on to the actual show because we've got so much to crack on with. My cat is driving me absolutely mental today. Thing is, I gave him no, it's over there. I gave him like pure catnip, and he's going it's like crack cocaine, absolute crack cocaine for the cat. It's terrible. And you can actually open doors. Yeah, you just open the door. Lovely. Okay, leave me in peace for once. Right, let's get down to brass tacks because what's been going on in America? Like I said, getting shit done, guys. Getting shit done. And Anne Paulina Luna, bit of a mouthful, who, by the way, is absolutely gorgeous. I have to admit, I love sexy, powerful women. Not saying Margaret Thatcher is my sort of thing, but but this woman looks like she can get shit done. So let's see what Anne Paulina Luna has to say.
The Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets has been organized under the House Oversight Committee and represents a historic step towards transparency and delivering answers to the American people. President Trump has already taken steps to deliver to the American people information that for far too long has been kept under the federal government's lock and key through classification. Under Executive Order 14176, President Trump has directed the federal government to prepare reports regarding the declassification of records regarding the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. The task force will also examine agencies' knowledge and possession of documents regarding other areas of significant public interest, including UAPs, the origins of COVID-19, the Epstein client list, and details surrounding the death of Osama bin Laden in Operation Neptune Spear. Our first hearing is March and will focus on the assassination of President Kennedy. We have already engaged with relevant agencies to provide briefings this month regarding the universe of documents connected to these areas of interest. Upon receiving these briefings, we'll move immediately to review documents and, if necessary, earmark them for release to the American people. The task force will travel as necessary to conduct research and meet with relevant witnesses and experts who may also be called to speak in a public setting. We will work closely with the committee to provide transparency through hearings, reports, and the release of documents. It's important to note that we don't have documents yet, and we also don't hold declassification authority. The task force seeks to operate with coordination with the administration to ensure that the American people receive the documents needed to answer questions that we have been all asking for far too long. We will regain the trust of the American people through transparency.
Isn't it so refreshing to hear after 4 years of absolute complete garbage from what I would describe as a very far left? Let's try and pick a picture here. Which one is it? Let's get rid of this one, actually. Yeah, it's so refreshing to hear this. She sounds very genuine. She really does. I do believe she wants to do good in terms of like transparency. It's the same with Tim Burchett when he talks about disclosure and transparency of the UFO topic. I truly do believe that. I know a lot of people sort of crap on them, but I got that gut feeling saying, no, I actually believe they really do want some transparency behind it. Ashammer, how's it going, mate? Nice to see you. I think I missed someone else here. Moony Man. Oh, sorry, mate. I'm awful at speaking and reading, so I do apologize. Guku, nice to meet you, mate. So yeah, in terms of like transparency, are we actually going to get it? This is making me think, right, okay, look at like MK Ultra, for instance. This was the mind control program back in the 1950s. They burn a lot of documents. I mean, the CIA and what they're involved in, especially, they really did cover their ass. I did look at something called, oh my God, I think it was called like Operation Midnight, where they would actually get these prostitutes into hotel rooms. This is obviously the 3-letter agency. And they would actually drug the prostitutes as, I think it was like with LSD and acid at the time, like really high doses, and trying to find out what they actually do. I mean, they were basically using the public as like test subjects. I mean, go figure what COVID was. Yeah, I mentioned that. Ooh, algorithm's going to love me today. So you can see what, I mean, if you look at the documents behind it, there are some documents about MK Ultra, but a vast majority has been destroyed. We've got some big things going on here. So JFK, Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, I think it said Osama bin Laden, 9/11, Epstein's List, and the origins of COVID. That's world changing, isn't it? And one would say that's kind of like a threat to national security. I mean, in one respect, you're saying about the CIA really trying to cover their ass here. Because if you look at like, especially like the first one, let's go to the first one, first of all, which would be John F. Kennedy, in terms of what information is going to be presented. I think a lot of it, like I mentioned in my previous live streams that I've done, is that I think a lot of information will be redacted. Absolutely. The CIA are going to cover their ass on this because everyone knows that they were part of it. And depends on what avenue you go down. I mean, especially like the deep dive. Some say that the driver did it. If you look at the final shot, and I've even shown this to Mark, who works for the Navy. He's a Royal Marine, so he knows how to shoot guns and everything. I said, Mark, look at this. The final shot of Kennedy. He goes, I know what he says, I know exactly what you're doing, Nick. I says, yeah, could you just tell me, is there a second shooter? And he says, yeah, I said, you always known that since the beginning. He saw this, that the fact there was multiple shooters. And obviously there's one from the grassy knoll. There's some speculation that the driver did it. This is more down at the William Cooper sort of aspect, that the driver turned around and then shot. I mean, that's quite a powerful gunshot. I mean, I've seen some horrible videos online, especially with the gunshots, but that looks like it was someone from a distance, especially with like a sniper rifle. That's what it looks like. It's just the impact of, like Bill Gates would say, back into the left. But it makes me think, right? Why do they want to kill Kennedy? It's why was he killed? Who killed him? And for what reason? I'm more down the avenue that the UFO played a big role. In fact, let's just play a clip from JFK, because he's basically warning us what is to come. And it's a very poignant speech, very important one. It's about 5 minutes long. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get copyright for this, but I don't care. Honestly, guys, every single video I've done, I've got a copyright for it. Bloody annoying. Let's bring this a bit bigger. That's what she said. Oh, come on, Nick. There we go. That's the one. So this is John F. Kennedy making one of his most famous speech. And it's all about truth. I think he really wanted transparency. Yes, we've seen that word a lot, but I believe he really wanted the truth to come out, especially about a lot of things like secret societies to be. Let's just play it because just pay attention to what he has to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
Boom. Saying it like it is. Saying it like it is. This is one reason why I believe that Kennedy was pretty much killed on that aspect. The fact that, oh my God, I can't even pick up the right one. Hold on. There we go. I do believe that he wanted to disband the CIA because I know that he wanted, well, the CIA wanted to make a war with Cuba. Operation Northwoods, that was a bit like the 9/11 thing, you know, when you're hijacking a plane with remote control and having these fake voices on board with the cockpit and everything. And they were literally going to kill civilians, you know, to start a war with Cuba. And I think Kennedy at the time started to take a glimpse of saying, well, hold on a minute. No, this isn't right for the American people. It's just like a war machine, you know, like America's always been, you know, especially since World War One. This is how far back we're going. And I do believe Kennedy wanted to tell the truth. And I do believe he knew about the UFO file. Yes, S. Hammer, you just listen to the podcast, and I was saying maybe there's a possibility that the Marilyn Monroe documents might find out how she was killed, because I know she was having an affair with Kennedy. You all know that. That's like a well-known fact for that. How deep she got into, but we know how deep she got in anyway. You know, happy Valentine's Day. Here's a rose. But yeah, what was the rumor behind Marilyn Monroe? Was she? I think it was an overdose, wasn't it? I believe it was an overdose. But we all know Kennedy probably run his mouth. You know what he's like. So that's. I do believe you want transparency. I do believe you want to tell the truth. And also you linked it to the UFO file, which was linked into Russia as well. If you want more information on that, go check out Dark Journalist. Dark Journalist, his name's Daniel or something. Oh my God, I was forgetting the name. But if you type in Dark Journalist on YouTube, he's gone into a massive deep dive into the assassination of John F. Kennedy, son of Robert Kennedy. Well, yeah, Robert Kennedy, obviously, his brother was another one who was assassinated. But yeah, Dark Journalist really breaks down who was involved, why it was involved. A lot of it came from the Nazis, really, through Operation Paperclip. So you got that involved as well. You had someone like Guy Bannister who created the X-Files, like the real X-Files, that was linked into Lee Harvey Oswald. It's such a deep dive, and it goes down so many different avenues. But if you want a full breakdown, please check out Dark Journalist. And I'm pretty sure once the documents do released, and hopefully it is not redacted, hopefully we can actually break it down. Probably, but we'll see. I mean, today is an extra special day because I want to talk about what Luna Paulina was going to say and the fact of what she's going to be hopefully releasing. But Alien Addict, I don't want it to be like a conspiracy channel, really. But I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I'll have to be like really careful what I say. But I want to talk about it, baby. I want to talk about it. But if you want conspiracies, please go check out Daily Conspiracy Podcast. Every single day they talk about it, and it's fun, it's lighthearted as well. So, in terms of what's going to happen soon with JFK, oh yeah, someone mentioned about the shooter as well, so about the fact that it doesn't look like the driver could have done it, because if you look at the video, right, because Kennedy gets shot through the neck first, and he's holding his neck down, and then Jackie comes to look at him, the driver's looking back, so obviously he hears this commotion. But because the bullet that went through went through the neck, actually hit the passenger at front. Can't remember what his name was. So the driver's probably looking around like that. But to get that gunshot in that right place, it don't look like it, to be honest with you. It looks like it came from the grassy knoll. And in fact, you can see the public actually running after the assassination up to the grassy knoll because that's where they heard gunshots. So obviously multiple shooters. Even Luna Paulina even said that. In fact, there will be a second shooter, but there probably could have been 3 of them. Who knows? So again, that shows that's a Central Intelligence Agency a part of that, which is shocking to think that CIA can actually take out a president. It's crazy, isn't it? The UAP stuff, the UAP, I mean, that is a bit like that transparency on that one. Let's bring up a video of Luna Paulina saying, reveals not alone. No, that's me. There we go. I hope everyone's having a good Valentine's Day, because I'm having a pretty good one at the moment. Why is it saying I'm a manager at the bottom? Bloody annoying. Okay, right. This is Luna Paulina, all about transparency in regards of UAPs. Right, got that there. Big screen.
With this task force, what are you hoping to uncover as far as UAPs that you have not already heard from other UAP hearings?
The biggest information problems that we've had with UAPs is the amount of stonewalling, stovepiping, and also it seems that there is this push to gaslight the American people into looking at the evidence and then not fully believing it. I think for us, if we're writing the budget, for example, into the Pentagon, if we're writing the budget overall for whatever programs might be out there, why is it that members of Congress who are given a top secret security clearance are being denied access? That's not a free and true government. And so for us, especially being that we have now a Secretary of State who's actually open to declassification and Marco Rubio, we're hoping to present that information and at least acknowledge it from a government perspective that we are not alone, but also let's see what the evidence is.
Thank you. Have you already been in contact with or started to send requests to these different agencies and federal departments for this information?
Yes. In fact, the letters went out this morning, not just on RFK, JFK, and MLK, but on everything that I had listed above to include UAPs, Epstein, and 9/11 and COVID, to the State Department, Department of Defense, CIA, and then also we'll be sending some to the FBI, and letters have also gone out to the NSA.
Hauling ass. Oh my God, they're pulling no punches, aren't they? Holy crap. This is crazy, man. Like I said, it's so refreshing to hear this. I mean, what happens if all this information comes out and like nothing is proven right? I mean, this is like deep conspiracy stuff, isn't it? I think we're living in a world of 2025 where it's hard not to be a conspiracy theorist. Everything seems to be proven right, especially like during COVID. Yeah, I got to say COVID. I'm not going to go into deep dives, but I've got to say the word, you've got to say it so you can understand where I'm coming from. We're going to talk about a little bit later. The tide is turning, man. It's vibrationally, I think a lot of stuff's information is about to come out. I really hope it does. I mean, you have to admit she's a very strong presence. I mean, you could say she's a strong woman, and not like a feminist or anything like that, but I get the sense that she can get like shit done. I really do hope. But I want to play a clip. I was going to play this. I want to get copyright, but who cares? Of the legendary Bill Hicks. Let's put a bit bigger. Back in. I mean, late great Bill Hicks. I mean, it can't get any better than that. Saying it like it is, even back from what's that? 1990. I mean, it's early 90s when he came out with that. Just goes to show that people were really woken up at that time. And going off what Luna Paluna was saying about the government basically gaslighting the American public in regards of UFOs, is the same goes for basically what's happening with social media at the moment, and it's the same with JFK as well. They're literally lying so much to the public, the trust is gone. And even she said that, like, no one trusts the government anymore. Quite rightly so. And we need to get into that, which is the number one topic that I think what really woken people up, and that was COVID. But yeah, you're right, Ray. It's social media is going to be the new media, and I'm going to be honest with you. I get the newspaper delivered at this place, right? Is not saying where I live, but I say to the guy, I says, look, no one's taking this newspaper, it's just gathering it up. So every morning when it gets delivered, he still delivers it. I read through the newspapers. Nothing about Luna Paluna and her new task force has been mentioned anywhere in this. So they've really kept it stum, especially in the UK newspaper. In America, it's slightly different. I mean, our news and information, especially like mainstream media, is very far left in England. I mean, England's a state as it is, especially the mainstream media, which are failing horrendously, which is why people are coming to, for instance, the Daily Conspiracy podcast and places like YouTube. But this is why people just don't trust the government anymore. They rather get information from somewhere else. I mean, even though it is conspiracy theory related, but it's always good to speculate because we always know something is wrong with JFK, COVID, 9/11, etc., etc. So yeah, you're right, Rotary. I think the tide is turning, and it's only a matter of time where the shit is going to hit the fan. It's kind of scary when you look at it, but it's exciting, isn't it? I mean, especially if you're doing a podcast like the Daily Conspiracy podcast. I mean, that is like a load of content on it. Honestly, guys, if you're like me, you love your conspiracies, and you like your bit of dick talk, go and check them out. Daily Conspiracy podcast. Honestly, it will lighten up your morning. Well, lighten up my mornings every single day, and I'm sure it will with you. And if you're new to Alien Addict and you come from the Daily Conspiracy podcast, I welcome you on in. And unfortunately, I don't do as much dick jokes as Ollie Lee and Dave, but I hope it could be more entertaining nevertheless. So let's figure out what really woke people up. Okay, so we've got Robert Kennedy, JFK, that's to come. Hopefully, Marilyn Monroe will also be mentioned in there. I think a lot of documents will be redacted. That's just my own personal opinion on that. Same with Robert Kennedy as well and Martin Luther King. I think the CIA, the intelligence agency, are really going to cover their ass on this one. I really do. I cannot wait to see what information is going to come out. But it's a bit like the UFO transparency. I'm still a bit... I'm just not too sure on that one. So I'm like 50-50, but, well, 60-50, more positive than negative, so to speak. But what got people woken up was, I've got to mention it. There's two things. One of them, if you've been in the conspiracy realm long enough, like I have since 2007, the number one conspiracy at the time was actually 9/11. Okay. I'm not going to talk about that yet. I think the mass awakening in recent times, I've got to say it was COVID. Okay. That was an eye opener for me because when I met my missus, right, I mean, back in 2007, 2008, that sort of time period when YouTube was amazing, conspiracy theory land, you can go on there, like find into your heart's content, like deep diving sorts of information. But now is obviously a lot of things have changed since then. But around about 2012, I met my missus after the whole hype of, something's going to happen in 2012, like the spiritual awakening, the end of the world. And then nothing happened, which I thought was going to happen anyway. I sort of moved away from conspiracies, so to speak. And I met my girlfriend and we're still together. Been 12 years of relationship. And I sort of dipped in and out, in and out, in and out. But then COVID hit and I was like, it sounds like the New World Order here, which obviously we're now known as the Great Reset. And I would never, ever, ever forget this, where it was like the first, like lockdown was about to get into fruition. And everyone's in a rush to get their shopping done. Remember that? Like everyone was just trying to get their pasta and all that. So I remember being outside Asda, like a Walmart if you're in America. And we all had our trolleys, and everyone's going, yeah, we must protect each other, look after our neighbor and all that, and all that sort of, kissing everyone's ass. But as soon as those doors opened, it was like flooding to get bog roll, flooding in to get, I mean, literally fights were about to take place. And I think, what the hell was going on? So I literally found out that the public was even more full of shit, because they're going, yeah, protect our neighbors, but they're doing the exact opposite and getting all the food and everything. No NHS workers can get any food or anything like that. But at the same time, everyone was like taking like literally trolleyfuls of bog roll. You don't eat as much as you shit, do you? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And at that point, I was going, this is just dystopia. And I remember working, because I was a gardener by trade. I was working in Bath. And this is the Bath located next to Bristol. And it was just like deserted. And I thought, this is just like weird. It's almost like 24 days later or something like that. It was absolutely crazy. So, but as the time went on during COVID, you start to realize the lies. Even I started to notice that. Even like the massive fear campaign since the weapons of mass destruction. And that was a load of bollocks as well. That's what scared me as well. So COVID, I think, woke a lot of people up, saying, hold on a minute, why am I being forced this medical intervention? Why am I being forced and being bullied, submitted to, and really like gaslighted? It was horrendous. I thought, and guess what? I was told that if I don't get vaccinated, my nan would die, because I'm so selfish, because I don't want to spread, this disease, or this fake disease, one would say, onto the public. I was supposed to carry on the pandemic because I didn't get the vaccine. I would potentially kill loads of people because I wouldn't take the vaccine. Well, guess what? I've taken no vaccine and I'm still here and nothing happened. So it's just, you tend to look back at that time and go, no, that was like a massive fear campaign, and it failed miserably. And the more people I chat to in like conferences or alternative people like me and you who are listening to this now, you start to realize you're going, oh, actually, no, people are starting to wake up to this, the tyranny behind it. And the mainstream media just falls apart on that aspect because they just don't believe it anymore. So they go to places like Daily Conspiracy Podcasts, which are actually going up on numbers in terms of like source of news and information in England. It was such a crazy time. We're all part of it, guys. Every single one of us, me and you, we're all part of it together. And we all know how mad it was. So I think that was the Great Awakening. That time period, I think, really started to wake people up. But one thing that woke me up was actually 9/11 back in 2007. All thanks to my mum. Is she in chat? Or mum, you're in chat? I'm not going to say you are. But yeah, me and mum, man. I mean, we've gone on a massive deep dive into 9/11 and the conspiracy behind that. I'm with Rotary on this one. I was going on the bandwagon. I mean, look, the 9/11 conspiracy has gone through so many different avenues. When I first started getting into it, this is like, I think it was like late 2006, 2007. Oh my God, YouTube, guys, YouTube was amazing. It was so good. I spent my whole days on YouTube, and you had something called Edge Media TV. Oh my God, Edge Media TV. Oh God, I've got to show you that in a minute. This was the time period of conspiracy theory research because there was no restrictions. It was beautiful, baby. I have such a nostalgic time for that time period. And is Rory your mum? Yes, she is. This was a lot of awakening for a lot of people at that time. Everyone's going, oh, it was a controlled demolition, definitely controlled demolition. And then it was thermite. Then there was the nukes. And then I can remember this, guys. I've got to like derail a little bit, okay? If you were a conspiracy theorist back in like 2008 and you had a Sky subscription package, I'm going to write this down because there was an actual TV channel called Edge Media TV. Is that there? I don't think I could find anything on it. No. Okay, right. I'm going to describe what it is. Okay, so Edge Media TV back in 2008 to 2013. If you had a Sky subscription package, right? This Sky is basically like cable TV for those in America. Okay, so you get the satellite dish and you get like 1,000 channels. So if you went to Sky Channel 200, you would have a channel called Edge Media TV. this is unthinkable today. This was a whole channel dedicated to conspiracy theories. You had people like David Icke talking about reptilians. You had, which was the documentaries, all the 9/11 documentaries, Loose Change, In Plain Sight, Zeitgeist, was playing on like national TV. And just think now, this is just unthinkable to have this information, especially on the public TV network. It's absolutely crazy. So this was called Edge Media TV. If I can find some videos, I'll bring it up on it. But I would spend my days watching that and days on YouTube finding conspiracy theory videos. But that's where I found Richard D. Hall, where he was talking about the World Trade Center with Andrew Johnson, which I don't particularly like, in my opinion. I think he's a pretty nasty person, in my opinion. Especially what he did to Ian R. Crane, which is actually quite sick. But them two were talking about Dr. Judy Wood's work, which was the direct energy weapon, which if you really want to look into that, oh, hold on. Algorithm's going to hate me for this. This is my copy of Where Did the Towers Go? Guys, honestly, if Alien Scientist is in here, he's probably going to give me a lot of shit, but anyway, who cares? This is the best evidence you want to know about 9/11 and what happened to the Twin Towers. Yes, go figure, direct energy weapon involved into it. But if you want more information, go check out Dr. Judy Wood, Where Did the Towers Go? This is my personal copy of the book. Oh man, the algorithm's going to love me. Happy anniversary. No, happy Valentine's Day, algorithms. Some roses for you. But yeah, that was a massive wake-up call for a lot of people, was 9/11, like huge. And this is the other thing behind it. I only remember this the other day with Building 7, when they announced the Building 7 had collapsed, and the lady standing there going, yeah, the Building 7 has collapsed, or the Salomon Brothers, and the building's still standing in the background, and then 20 minutes later it actually collapsed. I mean, you can look into your heart's content on 9/11, honestly, and you can go down different avenues, but I'll say there's a lot of stigma. It's a bit like the UFO community. There's a lot of like infighting on who's right, who's wrong. Yes, Rotary, please check out the book. Honestly, there's so many videos on Rumble, not on YouTube, I don't think, in terms of her work. I don't know, Rotary. Is she Dr. Judy Wood? Is she gone in? I'm not saying it's a hiding, but she's not really in the public eye at the moment. I know Alien Scientist gives her a lot of shit, and there really is no need for it. I mean, it could be quite nasty, like in some cases, to be honest with you. But yeah, guys, if you want more information on, oh, she's retired, is she? Okay. Oh, that's a shame. I mean, hopefully she come back on Easy Math Solutions, because that's another top-notch YouTube channel to go check out, especially on the Twin Towers and stuff like that. Yeah, most probably. But yeah, she does banging work, and she's a proper physicist. Like, she got the whole PhD, like everything, the whole shebang. So I take her word quite prominently, to be honest. So I think that is enough for the algorithm for today. So in terms of information, what is about to come out in the next 4 years is going to be very, very interesting. I cannot wait to see what happens. JFK has always been in the public eye, especially in my family, for a very, very long time. Bear in mind, I was brought up with mum and dad being, especially me and my dad, we were into anything UFOs and aliens. I can remember watching the Russian or Soviet Union KGB alien crash, and I can remember I had my small little, I used to play my PlayStation 1. It was like a small little 10-inch screen, and it had like the tape cassette thing inside it. I remember we used to have like a little aerial. We used to like run around the room trying to get a bloody signal for Channel 5. I remember me and my dad used to watch the like anything like Arthur C. Clarke. I mean, the X-Files even did scare the crap out of me. Strange but True, anything that was scary, paranormal, anything that was bizarre, even conspiracies, was very much part of my upbringing. In fact, I remember on the Sunday 1997 when I woke up, and it's only twice this had happened, where every single news station, every single channel, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 back then, I didn't have Sky Channel, showed all this event. So that was 9/11 and Princess Diana when she died. Every single channel had the news outlet on there. I remember waking up on the Sunday, and I went to my mum's room. I said, Princess Diana's she's died in a car crash. And I would never forget my mum's face. Like, you're joking. I think she said that. Mum, if you're in chat. And she knew that something was going to happen with Princess Diana. So there was all this speculation, especially I remember on 9/11, Mum was going, yeah, the plane that crashed in Shanksville looks like a bomb went off. There's no plane crash there, So even back then, so I was always grew up with being the alternative movement, the alternative thinker. I mean, back in school, I had my old UFO magazines I used to bring with me back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, this is where I come from, man. I like to answer the hard questions, ask the hard questions, so to speak. But now we just at this time period where you just can't ask it. But I think the tide is shifting. I really do. It's fascinating time. It really, really is. So I think that's going to be enough. I mean, I've got the Epstein list as well. Woo! I think we're gonna. Oh my god, that's going to just if that comes out right, it's going to destroy so many politicians, so many bloody A-list celebrities. I mean, you are looking at the death of like celebrity culture. Because back in the 90s, I remember like celebrities like Tom Cruise or something like that would be like really like, oh my god, like they think like this new entity, like this new god sort of appearance and this sort of this like persona, so to speak. But now you look at it, you think, oh no, these people are just absolute full of shit. Absolute full of shit, especially when they're trying to tell people how to vote. That's the other thing. That was absolutely terrible. So yeah, we got JFK, Robert Kennedy, we got Martin Luther King, Epstein list, COVID, 9/11. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in. Man, it's going to be a hell of a 4 years. So I'm going to move away from that because the algorithms are going to absolutely. They're like, oh, what should we put on like as the fact check for this one then? Oh, I forgot to mention. If you go to my new friend, hold on. Where are you two? Where are you two, Amy? Have I got it on there? Oh, I don't. Okay. All right, never mind. 2 seconds. Yeah, the other day I reached out because I want to get a more of like a panel show for Alien Addict. Yeah, I know it's going to be me like once every blue moon, but I'm going to try and get Hidden on for the next show. I've been in contact with a lot of UFO channels at the moment, trying to get more or less like a panel show on, so we can get more of a conversation because that's how I sort of operate best, in my opinion. When you get more voices on a show, it's a bit like me and Hidden. We tend to work quite well. Yeah, if you go on to Good Morning UFO or to Amy at Alien Girl 111, or formerly known as Alien Girl 111, I popped onto a show and had a little chat about CE5. Yeah, I know people are a little bit speculative about it, but it's fine. I love to hear opinions about it, and what she was saying and what to do, how the process. I mean, I wouldn't mind meditating, trying to get some bloody UFOs. MJ's alive. Yeah, actually, there was the video of MJ when he was actually taken through the ambulance and he was being followed. And the ambulance went underneath this tunnel, and you can see Michael Jackson, who wasn't dead, actually get out, had a towel over his head. I think I remember that quite well. So yeah. Oh, cheers, John. Thank you. I think you were there in chat, weren't you? Yeah. So yeah, go check out Amy. I might pop on next week as well. And yeah, I just like the conversation with people. Like, I want to get Matt on as well. Like I said, I want to get like a panel show for Alien Addict, like bring it back to what it used to be. So don't worry, guys, that is all on the cards. Okay, so yeah, if you want to go check that out. Oh, she did a really like banging show today. She did. I don't know if you were there, John, but she was talking about. She showed the flipping JFK assassination for her intro. I was like, wow, like you go, girl. The video's still up. But yeah, she's wicked to speak to. She's awesome, and I had a blast being on the show with her. Yeah, Amy's a really, really cool person. Really cool. Oh my god, too. There we go. Right. So what have I got else on the agenda tonight? Let's have a look. Oh, in terms of conspiracies, right? There was an interesting interview on Sean Ryan's show. Someone called. Let's bring it up here. So I can't remember what the guy's name was. Mike Benz. Really interesting because what I need to talk about here is that I've been talking about this for a very, very long time. Okay. And this is the infiltration of conspiracy theories. Put it a bit bigger. Okay. So I've been saying this for many, many years, that the fact that our community, the alternative community that we get on social media, specifically obviously X, isn't it? Everyone on here in chat, we're all on X, right? We all communicate on X, which is where we get our information from. But what I've been saying, that the fact that you have people, certain agencies, ethnic groups, so to speak, saying who they are, who are almost put in to the community to spread misinformation on a conspiracy. So, for instance, Rotary, if you're there, mate, this is what I believe: science, evidence, fringe. Said it right. Yes. Happy Valentine's Day, brother or sister, whoever you are. Not gay, just showing you. I have a rose here. I don't know why. Anyway, I believe in terms of 9/11, right? I think the controlled demolition theory was put out there on purpose to distract the fact that the World Trade Center was destroyed by a direct energy weapon. That's just my theory on that one, because the controlled demolition theory was very, very hyped up at the time, and I think that was planted on purpose. Might be wrong on that one. Just might be my conspiracy theory brain on that one. Yeah, see what I mean, mate? Is it coming out? Oh no, it's not coming out. Oh no, because I've got a thing on the way. That's why. But yes, Rotary. Yes, yeah. I think that was a massive plan to literally distract the public to what actually. There we go. That took a while. There we go. Okay, it's working. Okay, 90%. Oh, the building's gone vanished. Yeah, this is the thing, guys. Honestly, if you think that the World Trade Center was destroyed by explosions, I'm sorry, but the noise it would have made around Manhattan would have deafened 2 buildings, literally turned to dust, literally everything in it, like literally everything. I remember Rotary, there was I think it's in Dr. Judy Ward's book, they had a safe and it was all twisted and melted in this concrete and it had some unburnt paper hanging out of it. Right, a collapsing building or thermite can do that. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. If thermite was involved, I would have to admit, what's his name? Oh my God, what's his name? Andrew Johnson would say. He said that it would have looked like a sun in the sky. You know, it would have been like lighting up like a flipping sun if it had thermite to make it turn to dust in that area. But oh mate, I could talk about flipping 9/11 for ages. 9/11 was pulled down probably by a direct energy weapon, in my opinion, because there was a bus next to it that was like melted, and then an hour later, this is when the building 7 was still standing, and then about an hour later, when the building actually fell, this bus is actually melted. I'm not literally melted. It's absolutely crazy. I know who's the guy? Was it? He said in an interview, or they told it to pull the building, which again is a plan. They're literally feeding conspiracy theories in here. I'm sorry, going off topic a little bit, but this is Sean Ryan interview with Mike Benz talking about manipulating conspiracy theory corners along the internet. I want to make sure I got it right. Okay, I think it's here. Okay, listen very, very carefully, because this goes for the UFO community as well. People are literally put into the community to spread misinformation on the topic, even if it is conspiratorial sort of aspect. It's literally pushing people in different directions, and you're not going to find the truth. And that's what I've been saying for a very long time. We call this Operation Mockingbird, which is like alludes to it basically. So let's listen to this.
In those 3 years, her wealth jumped from 6.7 million to a whopping
in conservative world.
top stories. The ex-chief of the USAID, Samantha Power, reportedly
Wait a minute, sorry guys, hold on.
leaving many on social media questioning how her net worth made such a significant jump in such a short amount of time.
Cass Sunstein was a very infamous figure in conservative world for a long time, because he was the author, I believe in 2007, 2008, of a famous white paper called Conspiracy Theories, which made the argument that
Quiet,
the
that's
U.S.
loud.
federal government needs to infiltrate the online space and infiltrate the cognitive intelligentsia of alternative movements. At the time, he was concerned about things like 9/11 conspiracy theories on YouTube, undermining the diplomatic posture and standing of the United States and our military posture. If these theories gain steam, it would massively degrade the ability to wage war in Afghanistan and Iraq and build an international coalition. And so he made the argument, and I'm not weighing in on this, by the way, substantively, but this is simply what he said, and everyone can look this up. This is Samantha Power's husband, who then joined Samantha Power on the other end of this. Actually, maybe I'll start with that side of the story. He moved over while Samantha Power was head of USAID, running this program, spending $1.5 billion to fund illegal immigrants to make their way from foreign countries into our country illegally.
Oh my God, really?
Basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can
Suck my ball.
DHS is responsible for managing that and stopping that and catching them. Cass Sunstein moved over to DHS in order to help run the immigration policy, where he was basically a senior advisor on immigration policy around the open border that left the whole thing open. So you have the 1-2 punch. Samantha Power is funding the machine so that they all get here. And, her husband is a DHS, creating and popularizing and implementing the policies that make sure there's catch and release, and the whole thing's open, and we can't do anything to stop them once they get here.
It's getting to the point. Get to the point.
Interagency approval, you might say, but it's all in-house right there. But the other part of this gets back to the role of USAID in psychological operations, and why USAID needs to lie about what it does abroad, and why it needs to lie about what it does to our own oversight organs and the people, the U.S. citizens who vote for it. So Sunstein writes this, conspiracy theories thing, and he argues, whether you agree with it or not, a lot of people would never even think about that, when they're considering the merits of such a thing, that these things, if they gain steam, have massive diplomatic implications. You're going to convince France to, contribute to the war effort. You're going to convince Germany and the UK, or while they see things on YouTube that make their own parliamentarians or prime minister, question the predicate for it. You can understand the national security impulse to want to do this work. I'm not saying that's the thing to do, by the way, believe me. But so it was called Conspiracy Theories, this initial paper, and it made the argument that the U.S. federal government needs to develop a new capacity to infiltrate these movements and develop methods to either neutralize them or reroute their cognitive thought leadership in order to avoid the outcome that results in free and unfettered alternative media popularizing ideas that can undermine the workings of the State Department or the U.S. military. Then quickly thereafter, he writes a book called Nudge. Nudge is basically the holy Bible for the censorship industry. And it's basically required reading.
Okay, right. Well, I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to get another copyright. You go check this out, guys. Honestly, this is Sean Ryan's show that he did with Mac Benz, and it's around about the 2-hour mark. And what he was talking about, the fact that, he made it very, very clear there. Whether or not you believe it or not, like he says, like the fact that you have these agencies, 3-letter agencies, especially intelligence agency, behind this, really putting implants into the conspiracy movement, truth movement, to push people in different directions. And this is why I always said, as being a conspiracy theorist, as is what I'm looking at or what I'm researching full of shit. Okay. Vast majority of the time, I think we're on the right path. And a lot of it's going to be proven right, especially like with COVID and stuff like that. You didn't really see that coming, to be honest with you. We're all saying the same thing. But now, over 4 years, we start to say, oh, actually, no, a lot of been pushing was actually a lot of lies. And I think the lies were pushed from social media aspects. But again, going back to our community, where we got information from, just be very careful where you're consuming the information. We're all adults here. We all can make our own decisions. And just because somebody said something a bit different towards you doesn't mean you should go, oh, actually, no, I might be wrong that one. No, if you've got your gut instinct to say, no, actually, I believe this sort of way, and which goes against the alternative theory, it can get a bit like jumbled up with whoever you're sort of being with. I mean, I've had that experience last year. No, I'm not going to talk about it now because it's yeah, but you get to know the people behind who take it like way too seriously in terms of this information being pushed out. So just be very, very careful what information you're consuming. I mean, I think a typical example like Lou Elizondo, if you look at that, he's he almost like inserted himself into the community. Like you say, Grosh was, being pushed as the new whistleblower, and then you find out he's probably most under the payroll or the command of Christopher Mellon, and it makes you go, oh, hold on a minute, what's going on here? Why is this guy involved? So it makes you think, okay, is the conversation going in the right direction? I always said this back on Alien Addict with Matt and Ollie Lee and Dave, is that the fact is a conversation, not obviously the conversation we're having at the time, but I mean, in general about ufology, is it going in the right direction? And this is exactly what I mean, that the fact that there are people infiltrating to push people in different directions. That's obviously been done on purpose. I mean, look at ufology at the moment. Look at the community. I wouldn't really say as a community. It's almost like a cult, but it's just everyone's in different categories now and everyone's fighting with each other, obviously done on purpose. If you went back 10 years ago, or even like 20 years ago, back in the early 2000s, ufology was nothing like this. Nothing like this. It was quite a peaceful place. Same with the trail community, the chemtrail. I said the bloody word. Yeah, chemtrail community. It's absolutely it's like fear mongering. It's literally fear mongering at its best. So just be very, very careful what information you're consuming. And this video here, Sean Ryan channel, Mike Benz, go check it out because it's definitely worth going through, and it's 2.5 hours of complete gold of information. So that is for that one there. Okay. Oh, this is going to get interesting. This popped up on Twitter about something so flipping crazy. I said it'd only be like a short show, so let's which clip should I do? Ooh. Okay, guys, I'm going to play this clip here. This is from an incident. Let's make sure I've got this up right. Yes, I do. Fantastic. Go to there. Okay. So back in the Vietnam War, a B-52 bomber went missing, and they couldn't find it until they tracked the skies, they tracked the grounds, and managed to find it, right? So this retired U.S. Army Special Forces Captain William English gives his story, and it is absolutely batshit crazy, and he sounds genuine. Listen to this.
Going in and finding a crashed B-52, determining the extenuating circumstances of the crash, whether or not the aircraft had been destroyed enough to hide secret equipment, documents, and determine what had happened to the personnel on board. And originally, we thought that we were just going to go in and verify a crash and determine whether or not there were dog tags to be collected and get the hell out of there.
And what time frame was this, and what part of Southeast Asia did this occur at?
Well, we were flown to the Cambodian border. And we crossed the Cambodian border on foot, and about 10, 15 clicks across the border, we found the crash site. And it was pretty weird. What we came on,
listen to this,
was a fully intact B-52 aircraft that looked like it had just been grabbed out of the sky and gently put down on the ground. There was no crash. There was no sign of a crash. There was no crash trail or anything like that, which we thought was pretty odd to begin with. And we managed to gain entry through one of the emergency escape hatches, where we found the entire crew.
Listen to this.
Still strapped in their seats, mutilated like cattle. Tongues were missing. Closer examination showed that jaws were scraped clean. One of my guys took one of the bodies out of the seat and discovered that his rectum and genitals had been literally cored out like a biscuit cutter had been used.
Oh, jeez.
We found the bomb bay was still full of bombs. Nowadays, you'd say the creep factor started to set in, so we set charges in the bomb bay, in the nose of the aircraft, to make sure that the avionics were destroyed, the engines. We even set bombs on the tail. And got the hell out of there as fast as we could. We collected dog tags to be turned in when we got back to our headquarters. And we retreated about a half a mile away and used the radio signal to set off the charges. And we made sure that everything went off. The biggest explosion was, of course, the bomb bay, when we finally set the detonator on the bomb bay, because it exploded all the ordnance that was loaded in the bomb bay. But all of our bombs showed that they went off at the time. And in the process of all of this, we had taken photographs of everything we found. And we got the hell out of there.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. That's very interesting and at the same time extremely scary. I mean, the whole crew. I mean, what are you saying? Like Ray was saying, that the plane didn't crash. It was literally like placed down onto the ground, and then to go in and find the crew members mutilated. I don't know if you've seen cattle mutilation. In fact, I don't think I can show it. It's probably a bit too graphic. From 1974, I got an old UFO magazine that shows the first reports of cattle mutilation. Very, very common thing. The jawline is removed, the tongue removed, eyes are removed, the genitals are removed. It looks like the guy that's like graphic, and like the anus is like scooped out. Like, oh god. Hidden would love to do a show on human mutilation, but I think it may have to be on Rumble, and obviously cattle mutilation as well. I mentioned last time Richard D. Hall's documentary, what's it called? Silent Killer, I believe that's like one of the best ones on that. But the human aspect of mutilation is a real thing. It's extremely graphic. If you want to go look at the photographs, I know that that's it. Yeah. That's it, mate. Yeah, it's called Silent Killers, which goes into great detail even on the human aspect as well, and it's horrifying. I mean, only one can imagine being put under or not conscious at the time if this is actually happening to them. It's horrendously bad. Yeah, go support Richard D. Hall, FU, BBC, PPC, the Pedophile Protection Corporation, for what you've done to Richard. Absolutely disgusting, and you deserve absolutely no respect, and you're getting everything that's coming to you. That's why people don't believe you anymore. But yeah, richplanet.com. It used to be called back in Edge Media TV, Rich Planet Starship. You just get beamed up onto the starship. It's brilliant. Oh dear. So this is immensely fascinating if it did happen in Vietnam. I mean, it sounds genuine. It might just be full of shit, but it's a very, very compelling story, or especially the crew member being in their actual seats and being completely mutilated. Definitely not ruling it out before any skeptics come along saying, "Oh no, it's all fake. Where's the proof?" It's like, yeah, I ain't gonna. I would love to see the photographs. Put it that way. I mean, me and Mrs. love our true crime, and we too look into like. I know it sounds bad, but look into like the true crime photographs and stuff like that. It's just what we're into and all that. Really, don't really sort of take it too seriously. But for this guy to witness what he's seen on that B-52 bomber must have been flipping horrifying. So yeah, the human mutilation. If you want to go down that avenue, go ahead, man. As long as you don't keep you up at night, that's the main thing. So yeah, interesting story. Let's have a little look what we got. How are we long running? An hour and 11 minutes. Okay. Well, I've got some. What should we do here? I tell you what, let's put some paranormal photographs up that I've taken from. I'll tell you what, let's get rid of that. Got that. Okay, cool. Let's bring up some photographs that are from this Facebook page. Because some of it's pretty good, some of it's pretty shite. But yeah, anyone who's seen a ghost, I would love to see your footage. If you want to send it to. Oh, I didn't put the email address. I'll bring it up in a minute. Hold on. Right, let's look at these photographs here. So these were taken. These were put on Facebook back in beginning of this week. So this is all fresh new footage you are looking at here. And what we have here is this. It's kind of hard to see with these footage because you're not seeing like the full background photograph. This is it. You want to see what the full photograph actually looks like. So it's kind of hard to tell. That kind of looks like an early 90s sort of thing, you know, like the old programs of like fake ghost photos and footage back in the day. It kind of looks like that. Oh yeah, I just found some old ones. In my personal opinion, this is an old one taken in a church in England. Kind of looks like double exposure. Yeah, I know. Oh, you're Mick West, mate. Like, no. It's too perfect. You would have thought an apparition would be like a big glowing apparition, but I mean, one thing that always caught my eye, guys, is the fact that why has Ghost got clothes? Why would Ghost have clothes? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really, for me, make sense in that aspect. But I don't know. Could be stuck in that timeline, and the clothes aspect, I never got that. Same with this one here. Double exposure, probably. It's really hard to see. These old photographs are kind of hard to debunk, but at the same time, they were very, very easy to be manipulated. It's a bit like the Gulf Breeze sightings back in the 80s. This was taken from an old TV program called like 100 Best Ghost Photos Caught on Camera. And this was like the Golden Lady. I think it was eventually debunked. I think I've got a better photograph here. No, I don't. I don't think I do. No. So that is like this glowing figure. Like I said, you know, can't really make out any clothing. I mean, it's almost like a big shining mass. I mean, one would say it would be like ectoplasm and stuff like that, which is obviously a real thing, obviously, when it comes to ghost phenomena. One thing I didn't understand with the ectoplasm, remember when you see it used to come out like people's mouths back in like the early 19th century and stuff like that? How come we don't really see that anymore? Do you know what I mean? Why haven't someone actually got an old photograph or camera and actually done the seances? It's mostly through seances, isn't it? I believe that's how you get this sort of ectoplasm come out of people's mouths and people's noses. Obviously, a lot of faking was going on at that time. Here's one quite interesting. The background's blurry, it's kind of hard to see, but you could definitely make out a shadow figure there. It's definitely see-through. It's hard to tell in it, man. It really is. But I thought it's just still quite interesting to show. Right, this one here. Got to crop it all up. So she posted this picture last year. Saw this on my home camera. I saved it, but was curious what anyone thinks. It looks like my grandma who passed away in 2017. And this is the apparition here. See what I mean? It's like when it comes to like with ghost apparitions, I guess it's like, I know it's like stereotyping ghosts here, but it's like the white sheet. You know, you put a white sheet over yourself and like, ooh, I'm a ghost. It's a bit like that, really. But nevertheless, this is a very common occurrence when it comes to, especially like with apparitions. Like the apparition I showed you on the last episode, you still will have that sort of white ectoplasm sort of sheen behind it. You could definitely sort of make out some sort of figure. But yeah, I mean, someone, especially like a nan or relative who's been in a house for a long period of time, it's almost like they're stuck in a timeline, in like this time zone where they just never leave. I just find it interesting. I really, really do. I mean, it's a good photograph. I would definitely say is humanish, I would say. That's a better photograph of it. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. That's bloody bright, mate. This is being of light appears inside a church of Our Lady of Catholic parish in blah 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 blah. Oh my god! I was unable to explain the image they caught here than other. Oh my god! I should never 420 before the show, but yeah, go read it for yourself. It's pretty damn compelling, isn't it? I've never seen anything so shining so bright. Did this guy actually see it through his eyes? Was it through the camera? If you look at the glow itself, it's actually shining on the object. A being of light appeared inside a church. I don't know what can actually create that effect. Every time I see these ghost photos, I go, right, how can I actually debunk this? Yes, I know it's the Mick West way, but at the same time, I need to play like, you know, Occam's razor here, man. You know, I need to think like, right, what can be the simplest explanation? This is hard to tell, man. It really is hard to tell. I'll leave that one with you guys. I don't recommend doing this. I thought it was a pretty shitty thing to do. So this was a cemetery of a veterinary. So this is a war era grave, and this dickhead decides to sleep on it. Don't know why. And you have this sort of apparition here. It's probably saying, "Hey, mate, why do you mind fucking off, please? Show some bloody respect." Yeah, interesting apparition. Again, we have the white haze as well. That's a very part of the human apparition aspect. Again, I like this one. This is funny. If I saw that, oh shit myself. If I saw that in the forest. Look at that. Not exactly Slender Man, but if you see that coming at you, that's it. I'm gone, mate. That's it. Happy Valentine's Day. This one, talking about pareidolia. This is interesting. This guy took a photograph when he was smoking a joint or a cigarette. It's clearly a joint, mate. Don't like. And he took this photograph whilst he was in his room sitting down. And it's like an outline of like a skull. Check that out. It's almost like a face. But again, that's part of pareidolia. It's a bit like seeing a cloud and going, "Oh yeah, it looks like a dog or a sheep or something like that." That's what pareidolia is, and he's just sort of making out a face out there. But I thought that looks pretty cool, pretty creepy. Anything else? The last one for here. Actually, looking at it, kind of looks fake. Unfortunately, with these pages, guys, that people upload, there's a lot of faking going on, and that's very evident. Very, very evident. Yeah. I'm not buying that one. I'm not buying that one. Okay. So that is all the ghost photos for today. In terms of UFOs, it hasn't been that much. Oh no, what I'm talking about. There's a very old case that I want to bring up just quickly before I go on to conspiracies. And it's this. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this before. A very interesting case that happened in Australia, the beach of Australia. So this is when Eric Thompson in Maslin Beach, Australia, looked across the ocean. He saw, to his great surprise, how an object rose from the waves and started flying towards him. When the object came near, Eric took out his camera and started taking photographs. This is probably, I would say, is probably one of the best UFO photographs taken. I tried to save them, but I tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in the chat box so you can all check that out for yourselves. Oh, am I? I bloody hope so. Never know. I said to you earlier, I said, yeah, I should hold off on the 420. Didn't listen. But no, thank you. Thank you, City Diva. It was nice speaking to you earlier. It was really good. By the way, hello everyone, she's not my mum, okay? Don't worry. Not my mum. Very good friend. It's what I mean when you meet like-minded people. You come to Alien Addict in the chat. But yeah, it's nice to speak to you earlier today. It was awesome. So yeah, this was taken in Australia. This guy was on the beach. He saw this object flying out of the ground. It kind of looks like a probable drone, so to speak. So this rose out of the ground. It kind of looks like it was built on this earth, isn't it? First picture of the object coming out of the water. 3 legs could be seen together with several portholes. Yeah, I guess you can see it there. There's also a second object over here as well. The second object has appeared a little further away. This is interesting. Look at that. The last 2 photographs are very, very compelling. You don't really see any fishing line, isn't it? Every time for instance, if this came out in 2025, people go, oh, that's fake. Absolutely fake. Clearly, it's a model, a bit like a Billy Meyer style aspect photograph, isn't it? When you look at it, it's hard to tell, isn't it, man? Especially that last one there. It looks like one of those. It could be like an old style military drone, like the old ones that probably prototyping coming from the ground, or it's probably coming from an underground facility underneath the ocean, a USO, so to speak. But it's actually some sort of drone. But the guy had his camera with him, and he definitely. It looks compelling, doesn't it? Though it looks like it's been taken from some distance. Although, if this just came out of the ground, there's no excess water dripping, because you would have thought there'd be some dripping water behind it, and there's no ripples from the ocean itself. I mean, if you look at like Gulf Breeze sighting, which was the old style case back from the late 80s, Ed Walters had his experience, or although there were mass sightings back in Florida in the Gulf Breeze, and I think Ed Walters just sort of popularized on it and said he was abducted by these aliens. But there's a very famous photograph that he taken by Polaroid picture, which shows a UFO hovering over this road. It's actually quite compelling. It looks really, really good, and you can actually see the light shining underneath the UFO actually shining on the road surface. But this is taken in the daylight. Now, Ed Walters' photographs, I'm going to show you what actually look like in a minute. So this was taken in 10th of March, 1993 in Australia. So I've put the link in the description. Go check that out. It's probably one of the most detailed photographs of a UFO. I can't stand using the word UAPs. Again, it's just there to push the stigma into a different direction. We should keep the word UFO, and it always has been UFOs and not UAPs. All these bloody acronyms keep changing every 5 minutes, isn't it? So yeah, that is that for there. Link is in the description. Bring it up bigger. Yeah, sorry, Rory. I tried saving the photographs, and it didn't work. Unless I can do it. Am I a total retard? Magnify image. We did that, and that. With that? No, it's not going to work. Or is it? No, sorry, Rory. Sorry, mate. This StreamYard's it's pretty crap at the moment, mate. Yeah, I do apologize. But yeah, the links in description, guys. Go check it out for yourself. I've seen screen capture. Yeah, those are the ones for the ghost photographs and stuff like that. It's just me being lazy. It's like click on the PC. There you go. So I think last but not least, I want to talk of something about on a positive note, because if you're new to conspiracies or new to the truth movement and you've gone through awakening stage, it can be a very difficult process to get your head around. There is so much information you can find through the process, but I think one needs to take in consideration saying, right, sometimes you need to take a step back and not get. I mean, there's a guy named Rick Clay that I need to talk about that I would love to do an episode on. And in fact, I did a video on this, how to integrate conspiracies, because so this is a video that I uploaded. It's called a banned video integrating conspiracies. And this is going off what Dave was mentioning about if you think conspiracies is getting too much for you and you can't sleep at night and it's ruining your day. And I have to admit personally myself, last year when Trump got elected in, I felt this cosmic change, but at the same time, I went through pretty. I think the conspiracies really hit me hard, and I think the public as well didn't help either. And I had some toxic people in my life that really didn't help in this process. It's good to have conspiracy theories as friends, guys, but some of them take it too far and it gets a bit much. And sometimes, I hate to say this, but it's sometimes you got to say, right, I don't need you in my life anymore. She's probably listening, or that person's listening, but it comes a bit like an emotional vampire, so to speak. So you sort of learn your way, and it's good to have a community, guys. It's really good to have a community together where we can share information. But it's almost like these preppers. You ever heard of preppers that, oh no, the world's going to end soon? It's like, yeah, I've been hearing that since 2008, about 2012. And honestly, guys, you don't need people like that in your life, okay? With the Daily Conspiracy Podcast, they make it more fun and more hopeful. And I think this is where we are at the moment, okay? About how to integrate conspiracies into everyday life. My missus says to me last year, she said, look, I think it's getting a bit too much for you. And I was like, no, it's not. But the truth, I was lying. It did get too much for me, where I had to take a step back. Go out, I know it sounds horrible, but go out to nature, go out, touch grass, go look at, like for me, one thing that I love to do, especially when it comes up to the spring now, we're coming to the spring season, is watching that sunrise every morning. It just makes me feel a lot better. One thing I love to do is obviously making content like this. I mean, I love to learn how to play the bass guitar. I'm going to learn how to do that. And sometimes you need a healthy level of detachment. Okay, we know what's going on. But at the same time, thinking that there's going to be no hope, because being a conspiracy theorist, like I said, doesn't bring warmth to the heart. It don't. It keeps you in constant fear. And like Dave was mentioning, sometimes you just got to switch off. If it gets too much, you're like, right, that's it. I'm moving off from everything. And you have to do that. Like I said, you will go back to it at some point. But if you're going down the avenue or like pizza and all that, understand what I'm saying. And some other stuff that I can't mention. I said too much already on this episode, but it's those sort of conspiracies. It's so dark. I mean, City Diva, we were talking about something really controversial, which we mentioned about pizza. Understand what I was talking about there, especially when it comes to like with children and stuff like that. It's dark, man, and it can ruin your day. It can ruin your life. And this is where I want to talk about someone called Rick Clay. This is just like the last thing I want to talk about, because I want to get his brother on the show. For those who don't know who Rick Clay is, and this is a perfect example of lessons to be learned, so to speak. Okay, so this is Rick Clay. Let's bring it up a bit bigger. Let's bring him up here. Okay, so Rick Clay was a researcher back in 2008. 2008. He uploaded a blog on blogspot.com called The Cosmic Mind, which is an inspiration for my YouTube channel called The Cosmic Twilight. So Rick Clay, I was hugely into his research, was talking about 11/11, the Mayan calendar, 2012 London Olympics. He managed to put all these connections together, and it was so compelling. In a short period of time from 2007 to 2008, he put so much information on this blog, and then eventually he did an interview with Red Eyes Creations, which was on June of 2008. And the 4-hour interview is on my channel called Rick Clay Full Interview. And you can see a lot of research he gets into like the royal family, especially like 1111. That's what really got me into. I mean, as soon as I started researching the Rick Clay again, the 1111 started popping up, which is kind of a bit weird. But the point I want to get is that Rick put so much information out in such a short period of time. Shortly after the interview on Red Ice Radio, which was in June of 2008, he had, this is according to his family, had a bit of a breakdown. He completely detached himself. He was not in the right mind. He was all over the place. And unfortunately, 2 months later after the interview, Rick took his own life. I think everything got a bit too much for him, according to his family. Now, the conspiracy theorists would go, no, he was killed by the Illuminati. That is a typical bloody conspiracy theorist thing to say. It's like, look, there's so many more important people out there. David Icke, Jordan Maxwell, he's been going for like years and years and years. Why didn't the Illuminati kill these? But to say that Rick was murdered, I think it was what Ian R. Kramer said, is ill-founded, is completely, and it takes the whole aspect there is there is a person behind this, and especially a person behind this research. So I always found Rick Clay very fondly, and is a lesson to be learned for me is not to take conspiracies too seriously. We know they're happening, and we are living in the dawn, like with the peak of a conspiracy theory, especially what's about to come out or what's going to be exposed. Is a lot of people like me and you have been saying, yeah, bloody told you so. Bloody told you so. So yeah, this is what I just want to talk about, because Dave did mention it a couple of times. Like, if you're finding it a bit too much, take a step back. It's healthy. It's fine. Go out, get a hobby, detach, learn to paint, or for me, I've always loved music. I want to get back into music again. I think that's a whole aspect of my life that I sort of put away, but I need to go back into it. 2025, I feel I've been feeling a lot better in myself. Personally, I try to step away and try not to take things too seriously, but there are days where it gets a bit too much. So for those of you who are listening or going through this sort of process at the moment, it's okay. You're going to learn a lot of lessons, but just like I mentioned earlier about the Operation Mockingbird, the whole aspect of the information being put forward has actually been split into different categories and splitting the community apart. And this is where I've become a bit more skeptical of what information that's coming across. I'm not denying it. Like the episode I did with Amy, she did CE5, which is more Stephen Greer stuff. Personally, I poo-pooed the idea, but I still listened. She's a very Christian lady. She talked about Jesus. I'm like, no, that's absolutely fine. If you find helping Jesus, that's all good to you. More power to you. So I'm not denying stuff. It's just I'm very wary of what information that is, what I'm coming across. So just to round things off, yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I think awakening process is a very beautiful thing, very powerful thing, because it changes your mainstream media CNN brain to, oh my God, no, it was all lies. And it changes your whole reality. It changes your whole perspective of life. And it can be very dangerous, okay? But we're all in the communities together. We're ever growing more faster and in more numbers every single day. And it's a very interesting time. It really is. And I think I really want to talk about it because it is a whole, I call it the 2012 effect. It's a bit mind-blowing. It really is. The world is definitely a stage. And I think the stage is definitely crumbling at that point. It's a very interesting time. And I can't wait to go into more deep dives on it. I know Alien Addict ain't going to be a conspiracy theory channel, but I still want to talk about, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I, just want to talk about it for Christ's sake. But it's bloody YouTube and their bloody algorithms. They can be right assholes sometimes. Actually, all the time, really. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, just to round things off, don't take it too seriously. If you're finding it a bit too much, it just is healthy to take a step back, find a hobby, and be more at peace with yourself and trying to find happiness in yourself and not other people, okay? And don't underestimate your inner strength, because you are more stronger than you think, okay? Believe me on that one. And I'm actually shocked to say that, to be honest with you. After what I've gone through. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to keep it like a short stream. Normally go about 2 hours, 2.5, but I want to spend some time with Mrs. because that is Valentine's Day. So yeah, that is it. So I know we're all a bit all over the place. Next week, I want to get hidden on the live show. I was planning to do 2 live shows a week, but what I've decided to do, as I was speaking to Ollie, I'm going to bring out 1 video a week all about UFOs and 1 live stream a week. But the live stream would be more like current up-to-date stuff on UFOs and stuff like that. We'll go through many different avenues through this year. It's going to be very, very exciting, and I'm sure it's not going to disappoint at all. We're just starting, baby. We're just starting, and it's going to be very, very interesting. So everyone in chat, S Hammer, thank you so much. She Pop Up, thank you so much. City Diva, sorry. I'm like, woo, need something to drink, something sweet. Yeah, nice to speak to you and pop in any time. Bear in mind, she's not my mum, everyone. Okay. Rotary, thank you so much, man. Hengis73. Nice to see you here, man. I'm just going to run through the chat here quickly as possible because I can see my missus looking at me right now. It's like, TV to watch. Okay. But yeah, everyone in chat, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And I do appreciate everyone being here. It's been, you honestly make my week, honestly. And it's going to be, yeah, we are planning to do on Spotify. The thing is, because I show videos and stuff like that. I mean, videos not so bad, but when like photographs and all that, I probably have to explain what I'm actually seeing. But yeah, that is on the cards, mate. That because we're going to sort of blend conspiracy podcasts with Alien Addict at some stage. So Corbell's Cats, thanks for being here, bruv. I do appreciate it. It's a great show. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Science Evidence Fringe. Thank you so much. Yeah, again, guys, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you guys being here. I do appreciate your support and everything. Again, I'm just trying to sort of get my feet in and get my feet on the ground and just see how things go with Alien Addict. It's going to be an absolute roller coaster ride of the year. DW, thank you so much, bruv. So if you enjoyed the show, please tell your friends and the family. Tell your nan. And just to remember, always. Oh, have I missed something here? Hold on. Got to check my list again. I think that was everything. Anything important to mention? No, I think that's it. Okay, cool. Brilliant. All right. Okay. So yeah, if you enjoyed the show, please tell your friends. Please like and subscribe. And always remember this. They're watching you, watching us, watching them. See you soon. Happy Valentine's Day. And I'll see you next week. Go check them out. Daily Conspiracy Podcast on Spotify, Monday to Friday, because reptilians don't take days off. Happy Valentine's Day. I'll see you next week.